Gen X, double spacing after periods since keyboarding class. Yeah, that took a little while to break. It's Saturday. I'm Akorn, here to remind you of all the stuff you never asked to remember. If you'd like to help save this channel, please watch to the end and share the videos. Let's jump into today's show, starting with this week's pop quiz. What 1980s movie featured a computer system named WOPR? Stay tuned, and we'll give the answer later on in the show. For the first time ever, I actually do need to change the blinker fluid. Are you sure about that? Looks more like headlight juice to me. Charging my doorbell with my couch. Imagine explaining this to someone in the 1970s. Yeah, that would have definitely got some strange looks. No more snow days. School district replaces wintry days off with online classes. It's the end of an era, guys. No more snow days. Doc Brown taking a selfie after the DeLorean left in 1955. Gen X exercise equipment. Yeah, that is certainly true, although there is definitely a splitting mall that's missing from that picture. Here's an ad from the 80s, and it has the best of intent. And at the time, it was fine. But hearing it now, well, take a listen.
Today, being retarded means leading a full life. Retarded people go to work or school, just like their neighbors, and come back to a real home. A supervised home, right in the neighborhood, where they belong. Being retarded never stopped anyone from being a good neighbor.
A Boy Scout once made his entire neighborhood radioactive by building a functional nuclear reactor to earn his Atomic Energy Merit Badge. Okay, this had to happen somewhere, in between the 60s and 80s? I mean, how would he even be able to get the material in the 90s, let alone after 2000? Second question though, why is there an Atomic Energy Merit Badge? And what would a kid normally have to do to qualify for such a badge? If I win the lottery, I'm not telling anyone, but there will be signs. Yeah, that might be a little noticeable there. And before I mentioned it, how long did it take you guys to see Kit? Before camera phones, we summoned the sun. Yeah, the old flash cubes. They had those on a lot of small cameras. I also remember a few of the larger flashes as well. As a matter of fact, I still have some of mine. I will never get over the fact that this was the first YouTube app icon. Yeah, too bad I didn't start this channel back then. I would have been able to retire. At some point in your childhood, you and your friends went outside to play together for the last time, and nobody knew it. This hits harder the older we get. It seems like everyone had this chair. If you or someone you knew had this chair, hit that like button. My friends when I go out past my 9 p.m. bedtime.
Your creature of the night, Michael. Just like out of a comic book.
I don't know how people get eaten by sharks. I mean, how do you not hear the music? They have a good point. Do you think you could go back to living like we did in the 70s without internet, smartphones, and etc.? Could individuals go back and live that way? Yes, some can. Could society go back to living that way? No, it would collapse within hours. The sole reason Gen X will live until 100. Why don't they have Flintstone vitamins for seniors? How is that not a thing by now? The best thing about going shopping with your mom in the 90s. Yeah, I was gonna say they got the Nintendo, but then above it they got the Super Nintendo. Both of them on the shelf still being sold at the same time. Remember when the idea of a wild night out was skating in circles while a DJ played music? It's 2026, Time to let this go. If it don't look like that, then you're not using it correctly. I have to agree. Although, in the pan that's in my toaster oven, I just use parchment paper. No cleaning required. No one has ever bought these. They don't exist in stores. On the day you become a grandma, a crystal candy dish full of them appears on your kitchen counter and never runs out. It's been a while since I had something about strawberry bonbons on the show, but this does almost seem to be true. But on a show back, well, it's been some time ago now, after you guys told me these were called strawberry bonbons, I think you guys also said you could buy them at the dollar store, if I remember right. Nervous breakdown in 3, 2, 1. I heard somebody else point this out, and it is a little disturbing. Why is the patient awake and watching you operate? How I feel when I heavily stereotype someone and they act exactly how I expected. Richard Dean Anderson. All of us certainly getting older.
Do you remember that before the internet, that people actually thought that the cause of collective stupidity was due to lack of access to information? Yeah, and that wasn't it.
You are certainly right about that. When we were kids, we didn't have an Xbox to play with. We were happy with just a box, especially if it was a really big box. Me every time they play 80s music. When I was a child, all my mom had to do to shut me up was give me the look. Does anyone else remember the look? I doubt that there's anybody out there watching the show that doesn't know the look. When you realize that 2026 is as far away from 1980 as 1980 is from 1934, that just ain't right. I'm still kind of pissed that they never actually told us how to get to Sesame Street. That is true, isn't it? This Jordache ad from 1988 is about as 80s as it gets. To all of my 70s and 80s babies, what's missing? Well, the first thing we already covered, the candy dish full of strawberry bonbons. And to that, I'll add one of the big wooden box TVs. What else is missing? Today's pop quiz question was, what 1980s movie featured a computer system named WOPR? The answer is War Games. Did you record songs from the radio? Is there anyone watching that hasn't recorded songs from the radio? Because I think this is pretty universal, especially back in the day. This was a snack when I was growing up. Yeah, we always had big gardens when I was growing up, and my dad would be out in the garden, he'd pick off a tomato, and he had brought a salt shaker with him out of the house. He'd do that a lot of times during the summers. Due to the rising cost of medical tests, all you can do is pee under a tree and wait a bit. If ants gather, diabetes. If grass dries up, high salts. If it smells like barbecue, high cholesterol. If you forget to pull up your pants, Alzheimer's. That's pretty bad, guys. And no, YouTube, this is not medical advice. Guys, why didn't we have RC planes when we were kids? I mean, I know they existed, but I never knew anyone that actually owned one, because I could totally see us doing stuff like this, and a lot of other questionable things too. But we could have also had G.I. Joe paratroopers. Gene Kelly and Uncle Buck wins the Best Stare Award for the decade. Do you guys have a runner-up for this one? Or do you think someone else should have won first place? I can smell these heating up in the bathroom on the vanity. Yeah, everyone is hyping up the new Masters of the Universe movie. What do you guys think about it? Personally, in my opinion, I think they'll just mess it up and it'll flop like all the other movies these days. A version of you from the future is spying on you right now using its own memories. That is technically true. Probably even more so right now since you're watching a show about nostalgia. Swear jar. Forgetting someone's name 2 minutes after they told me jar. If you think that's bad, how about being in the middle of a conversation and you completely forget what you're even talking about? Yeah, that's just one of the things a TBI can do. If you could go back to the 80s with $1,000, what would you buy? Well, 95+% of the answers will probably be things like Apple, Microsoft, and other stocks or companies. But besides bonds, stocks, and other similar things, what else would you buy with $1,000 if you could go back to the 80s? Me personally, I'd like to buy some quality gifts for my mom, my dad, and my grandmother. I came across this one, guys, and I had to include it in the show. Serious question for the Millennials. My older cousin said she used to burn CDs for her crush. Like, with fire? Was that a ritual? Did it work? You guys were just literally practicing witchcraft just to get a text back? And I'm scared of y'all. The old magic will not be discussed with the children of new. How do you think she would react if she heard about mixtapes? Scary Jack-in-the-Box. Adult equivalent. If drinking alcohol damages short-term memory, just imagine what drinking alcohol can do. Yep, good reminders. Don't overdo it. Who knew back in the 80s while you were playing with this, you were training for this? Yeah, unfortunately, mine has 2 rows. One for morning and one for night. I came across this earlier in the week, and I had to include it because this is exactly the kind of thing some of us would do. My dad has been in a passive war with his neighbor Brad for years. They don't speak, they just escalate. Today, I got this text, and I just know my dad is cooking something up. Purely hypothetical question. If a person were to have gained access to another individual's Bluetooth speaker, and if that same person hypothetically had a playlist made up of randomized smoke alarm low battery chirps, when would you say is the most appropriate time for such a playlist to be played? I just thought this was funny. I mean, do you realize how long you could drag this on for? And how, after a while, it would start driving the other person crazy because they couldn't find this imaginary smoke alarm to change the battery? Also, you could even escalate it and start playing other sounds in the middle of the night, like someone walking or knocking on the door or the sound of a glass breaking, like a plate got dropped or something. I mean, eventually, sure, they're going to realize it's coming from the speaker, but it'd be hilarious until they do. Whoa, they must be rich. Yeah, keeping up with the Joneses, mostly on a Montgomery Ward's and JCPenney's layaway or store credit. And I'll end today's show with this. We carried quarters for the payphone, wrote letters by hand, and kept concert stubs in a shoebox. And honestly, we came from one of the best generations there ever was. If you'd like to help save the channel, please hit that like, subscribe, and share the videos. I thank you all for watching. You guys take care and stay safe this weekend. This is Akorn, over and out.